But did you have any hardship of actually raising funds? We already know about what we see as issues with diversity and just the aspects of it. What were some of your hardships of actually raising funds?
Wow. So many of you don't know. So to catch up. So at some point after like 12 years with this venture fund, I took a sabbatical and I moved to Atlanta, and just kind of, for like 5 years, just kind of reframed my whole thinking. And I got a call to come back and be the CFO for Diddy, and so I'm overseeing finance for all of his businesses and his personal finance. And for some reason, people felt like I was a music industry exec at that point.
Kind of happens
and at that point, like this is 2013, so Bad Boy was a catalog. He was doing Ciroc and Revolt and Sean John and other things, and making money. And music was just sort of a catalog at that time. And so I never saw myself as a music exec. But everybody else did. And during we had a lot of music events because Revolt was music. So I was at a lot of music conferences. I met everybody in the music game. And, but young people were coming at me, asking me for advice in their music careers. And I'm just Tony, right? So, in their mind, I guess they felt like they got a big connect. Like, this is the CFO for Diddy. And I felt their passion, and all I could say was, if I were you, I'd pursue a new passion. Because music is hard, and it's, I didn't even hear the music. I'm just slaying their dreams. And
you're dead to me. Just go ahead and do something else with your life.
Yeah, and one day I woke up in the middle of the night, like just at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, oh wow, I gotta facilitate their dreams. And that passion just fueled in my heart, and I said, I have to leave and solve their problems. And so I started formulating this idea for my company called TWEEDL, and made the decision to leave Diddy in 2017 to launch as a seasoned older gentleman. I'm gonna go out and be this tech entrepreneur and raise some money. And I had a big ambition because I think the platform that we're trying to do is as big as what Black Men Talk Tech is trying to do. And sometimes you have to embrace the bigness of your problem. And so I needed $2 to $3 million. So I quit my job, and now I got to raise $2 to $3 million. And we had lots of problems because I felt like I knew every Black wealthy investment banker, lawyer, whatever in New York, and I'm going to go out and raise $3 million with all my buddies, and we're going to have this Black-owned tech firm, and we're going to go out and do this. And then you start making the phone calls, and they
realization sits in at that point.
And they don't respond, and you realize that just because somebody has money doesn't mean they want to give it to you. Right? And it's just true. And you can't even be mad at that because we all spend our money the way we want to spend our money. And but I did have a large network, and I was able to successfully raise $2.25 million. And we began. But there are real challenges to raising money because VCs want to gouge you. They want to say, oh, your business is worth $2 million, and we'll give you $1 million, and we own half the company. And if they invest at all. It's a hard grind, and people look at you differently I believe as an African American entrepreneur. So it seems smart, but I don't know. And sometimes I feel like if I was blonde haired and blue eyed, I would have raised $3 million, a lot faster, and my A round would be a lot easier, and
Or you would have got $1.7 billion for messing up a company and been told to exit. Just saying.
Exactly.
Just saying. So, what was kind of your aha moment going through those transitions? Because you said one thing that I don't want to say it. I want you to say it about the difference between, I guess, advice and asking for money. Like, what was some of your?
Well, yeah, I think the big aha moment in going out to raise money was that. I realized that every time I asked somebody for money, I got a lot of advice instead. Oh, what you should do is you should consider this, and you should talk to so-and-so, and there was a lot of advice. And so I flipped it, and I started asking people for advice, and I got money. So I would call somebody up, and it's like, man, I need to pick your brains on something. I'm working on this project, and I just want to pick your brain. And I would just spend time before meeting the person. What advice am I seeking from them? Because you can get advice from, if they're a smart person and somebody there's something they can advise you on. I would frame it around the advice. yeah, I'm launching this new company, and here's what it does, and da-da-da-da, and I start going down this thing, and what would you do? And they're like, wait, so you're trying to raise money? And I was like, no, that's not why I'm here. Like, listen, don't change the subject. I really need your advice on this, you know? And literally, like, they felt like they were being left out. Like, no, like, so, but I can invest, right? And that's how I raised $2.25 million, asking people for advice. So stop asking people for, it's kind of like, you know, trying to get somebody to follow you on Instagram, right? People ain't gonna do what, don't like my photos, share my pictures. People don't like to be told what to do. But everybody wants to feel like they can add value, and they don't wanna miss out on some experience or something. So FOMO is a big thing, and I just went in and started asking people for advice and not money, and it piqued a lot more interest. And that was, I think, the aha moment for me.
I need about 15 more minutes of content because you answered like 3 questions right there. What's one of the mistakes, though, that you feel you made that you learned the most from? Because a lot of people, it's easy to talk about your success, especially at a conference. Most people can talk about the success, but we rarely touch on what could be deemed as a failure or a pivot moment. So while building this new company, what do you think was one of the biggest lessons you learned from either a mistake or just either a missed opportunity?
Yeah, you know, so I don't know if it's a mistake yet.
That's even better.
Right.
So now we can document this.
But it does contribute to the challenge, right? Like, the problem that I'm solving is big. And I'm building a music social network, right, to democratize new music discovery. And it's a wide open space. It's a very big proposition. And on the one hand, on the other hand, so people gave me $2.25 million. And for most people, they think, you give me $2 million, I can give you a profitable company, right? And so part of me wants to say, could I have taken baby steps and tried to create revenue more sooner and so on? And I don't know. I mean, like, Facebook didn't make revenues, you know, until they were like, you know, they were getting a lot of money in there, right, to build the community. It's an expensive proposition. So I wonder if, I don't know if the jury's still out on it yet, because if I raise my next $1 million, which I'm in the market for now, it's not an issue.
I mean, I think in this room, we would say the jury is already that you're successful because you already have the ambition to try, because enough people have forgiveness of failure and they're still deemed successful.
Right.
So I don't think you have to wait for that jury. I think in here, right, if we had to judge it right now, we would go ahead and deem it successful, correct? You've raised the money. You've already accomplished what most people can't accomplish.
Yeah, but we broke now, man. I need another, you know. It's like, you know, you can fall real fast.
But you know what? At least you got to chase the dream.
Yeah, you're
most
right
people
about that.
Most people are here not even willing to chase the dream. They get scared before they chase the dream.
A lot of my friends tell me, they said, man, you know, I'm 58 years old, and I left my company.
You're what?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
Young heart, boy.
Yeah. So I left my company at 50. I left Diddy at 56 years old to start a new company, and they're like, what? Like. And let's face it, like, I haven't had a W-2 in like 2 years, man. That's real. My wife is like, so when's Tweedle gonna pop, right? Everything's on hold. Like, so we ain't going on vacation. Like,
the yacht become a boat. The boat becomes sitting riverside.
I just sold my cars. You know, I'm Ubering around. Like, you start making changes in your lifestyle just to, you know.
But I think that's important for everybody to hear, because you got to know the sacrifices it makes to chase a dream. Because most people will probably think, okay, you work for Diddy and you're doing this, but you're living plush.
Right.
Not realizing no matter where you stand in life, you're still going to have to make sacrifices.
You got to make those sacrifices, and they're real.
So, and while you're doing this and you're going through this, one of the things that you mentioned that was very interesting to me is we see how like SoundCloud is just blowing through money. I'm still very curious of how Steve Stout actually makes United Masters work out. I don't really get it. Your platform seems to be very direct and with very much sort of a focus on impact and not just chasing money. So one of the things that made me excited to be able to interview you is that you're actually trying to solve a problem, not get rich.
Right.
Where a lot of people want to get rich while solving a problem.
Right.
So I think you kind of mix up the passion. So what's the impact that you really want to leave with the company that you're building?
Well, you know, music is like, we learn at a very early age to support the arts, right? Music programs are like the first things that get cut when school budgets are tight, and we talk about support the arts, right? And then you graduate high school having, you know, grown up in the arts, and you don't have a platform to monetize your passion, right? And so, you know, there's a stat out there which I found most alarming, is that 99% of all new music goes unheard at a time when information is everywhere, right? And this was the aspiring artist problem. Like, I got this dope music and I can't get it heard. I don't have the access to the gatekeepers. I don't have the resources. I don't have the connections. But I got this dope ass music. And that, to me, I think fuels my passion. Like, I really want to have a platform where every artist has an opportunity to live off of their passion and create a music middle class, right? Because I'm convinced that not every artist is going to be Drake or Taylor Swift, right? But they can make $400,000 a year, buy a house, and send their kids to college, right? And that's a music middle class. You know, it's like, you know, you become an artist, and like all of a sudden you're a gazillionaire, right? And there are a whole bunch of artists with dope-ass music that can make a living a decent, honest way. So it's the continuation of supporting the arts.
That's actually more impactful to hear you saying it that way, because I think when you say that, it reminds me of other artists. Have you guys heard of Currency? So I don't think Currency has ever actually signed to a major label, but that brother